to Living the Reiki Life podcast. Hi, I'm Amanda.
And I'm Christy, and we're coming at you from the Prairie Province of Saskatchewan, Canada.
We met in the corporate world over a decade ago and became great friends. We started our Reiki journey together, and now we are Reiki Masters. Follow along as we navigate life living the spiritual world while still working the 9 to 5.
We gather twice a month to chat all about Reiki and our Reiki journeys, energy healing, and other healing modalities.
We are going to interview some of our gurus and cover a vast majority of topics that we find interesting, and hopefully you do too. Let's get at it. Hello all, and welcome back in. This is episode 15 with Amanda and Christy. And today we have something really fun. We are actually going to do a Christmas episode. So we are going to list off some of our favorite things that we like, some things that we have bought that have turned out to be kind of duds, if you will, or things we just didn't think was worth it. So if you are looking to shop for someone, or maybe they're a little bit of a witchy friend, or just kind of into this kind of realm, so to speak, stay tuned. You'll get something out of this. And you can even let us know on Instagram too of other good ideas and gifts for other people. We would appreciate that as well. But first, let's start with an update. Christy, what has been going on with you since last epi?
I just recently got a puppy. So it's been 3 weeks now that I got her, and it's almost a year ago that I lost my dear friend Larry. He was a Boston Terrier, and it was hard going through that grief. But I'm glad I waited a year to get this puppy. It just seemed like divine timing, and it just felt right. And her name is Wren, so she's named after the bird. And she's just like a little bundle of joy. Like, she's such a clown, and she likes to play around, but she's like puppy biting right now, which is like, it hurts. So we're trying to like correct that, and we're going to get her into some puppy classes and just get her trained up so she's a good dog and I can trust her. And it's funny because I feel like her spirit is like almost like a starseed spirit, which is interesting. And some of the things she does, Larry used to do. And I remember reading about people's pets, their soul reincarnates into their next pet. And I was like, I wonder if this is the case. And I was like, no. I was like, but it feels like part of Larry is in her. And Larry is definitely around. Like, Troy and I will be reminiscing about something Larry did, and then the lights will flicker, and then I feel his presence. And another interesting thing that already happened was I took a picture of Wren and I looked back at it, and I seen some darkness in her eyes. And I was like, what is going on here? And I tuned in, and here she had an attachment, like a darker energy. And I was a little worried about it because I was like, oh boy, now I got to make sure her energetic field is clear, along with my own. And I talked to my one friend where her dog picks up attachments all the time as well, and she's got to clear its energetic field. And the funny thing was, like, that day when we went outside, all of a sudden this black dog appeared in the backyard and was just staring at us. So like, to me, it was like the attachment was showing up in the physical world as this black dog, just to confirm what I was feeling. So later that night, she was just being a menace. Like, she wasn't herself. She was making me mad. Like, she was listening, and I was like, damn, like, I need to clear this. So I was about to start like Reiki and tune in and see what's going on. And all of a sudden I heard her say, she's like, I'm good, I cleared it. And I was like, what? I was like, you cleared it? And I was like, hey, that's awesome. Like, it just feels like she'll be able to like hold her own. Cause I thought, how awful is that? Like, that something can attach itself to like a poor puppy. I was like, it's just like an innocent animal. Like, why is this happening? But if she has the ability to clear her own energetic field, I think that's pretty cool.
I think pets vibrate on a different frequency than we are, and a more sensitive one. So it's not really surprising, even if she could see it and almost just like, how dogs like shake it off. They kind of like shake off that energy,
Yep.
which us humans, we don't do that, which is why
No.
dogs have a way clearer auric field because they are naturally just shaking that energy off all the time. So it's really, really cool.
It is. And I feel like dogs are here to teach us so much because, yeah, she bonked her head real hard and then she shook it off. So it's like that energy's gone. And then the one night she had like the rips, I call it, like where they just run like crazy. And it's because she didn't get enough exercise that day. So before she goes to bed at night, she needs to get rid of that energy. But we're humans, we'll just sit on the couch and then that excess energy is just sitting in us. And so yeah, it's just so fascinating how they work. And I believe she's here to like teach me a lot about being in the present moment. Cause also we were like driving in the car and she whines for the first like 10 minutes and I was getting upset. So I was trying to pay attention on the highway and she's trying to jump and I was like, oh my God. So I was getting really mad. And all of a sudden I was like, okay, be in the present moment. And I just took a couple deep breaths, calmed myself down, looked over, and she was falling asleep. So it's just like they feed off your energy as well, which is super fascinating. So I'm excited for this journey with her and just see what she has to teach me.
Yeah, I'm really glad you waited. And that divine timing is something that is truly magical. She found you and you found her. It's just the perfect match.
Yep, it totally is. I can actually hear her barking downstairs right now.
Cute little Wren. I love that
Yeah.
name too.
Yeah, it totally suits her. She's totally a wren. What's going on with
Well,
you?
kind of playing off of your energy, actually. So I had a friend reach out and she was walking in the woods and she thought that something attached to her because she saw a man and she described them. And then all of a sudden she was like, I'm pretty sure that they like latched on to me. Can you go into my like crown and have a look? So I went into her crown to have a look, and sure enough, this entity did actually end up attaching to her, and I was able to clear it out. But when I was tuning into the man, I could tell that he died from the chest. My chest was super heavy, and he was a smoker, and it was really kind of hard to clear. And he didn't usually like I open up the heavens kind of or the light, whichever you want to call it, and they kind of just go in. They willingly like will see the light and maybe have to bring someone else forward to kind of meet them or something like that and they'll go in. But he kind of didn't. He kind of just dissolved into particles and then was gone that way. But it's still gone, so okay, that's a win. But the next day, I was like, geez, like my chest is so heavy. And I was kind of worried, like, did something hang around me? Like, did I not? I always clear myself, of course, after the session. But then I was thinking, like, well, maybe I didn't do a good enough job or something along those lines. And no, I was getting sick again. So I was just getting over a cold, but it's so funny. That was like my first thought, not that, hey, maybe you're just picking up a cold. It's like my initial thought is like, oh, what is hanging around? This isn't mine. This can't be mine. So I think it's pretty funny how just right away I go there. But good lesson too to make sure that I'm fully clearing myself after I do something like that. And I'm usually pretty good. And another thing that I'll do is like wash my hands after. So just another way to really clear my energy. And then, of course, I'm spraying and I'm really taking that feather through my crown just to really make sure nothing else is just hanging in the balance, so to speak. So that was a good lesson for me. And my friend did feel a lot better the next day. But it was super funny. She kind of started picking up on this guy's energy when she could like feel the attachment. She's like, I'm almost like feeling cooler in a way, or just feeling that masculine energy on her. It was pretty funny. But yeah, I guess that's my only update.
That's interesting though, hey, like how she had that awareness that he was in her energetic field. Like good on her. Because
Oh yeah, she's on the
sometimes,
journey.
yeah, like sometimes people have an attachment and they have absolutely no idea. Just be like, oh, I feel off and something's going on. And, but no, that awareness is amazing. And I'm glad you cleared it away and sent him on his way because, yeah, you're not welcome here. You can just move along.
Totally. Away you go.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about the astrology update for December.
Hmm.
So, we have the new moon coming up in Sagittarius on the 12th. And if you listen to our previous episode with Bree, she mentioned that Sagittarius energy is really fun, happy sign. And I'm actually a Sagittarius moon. So this is kind of fun for me. I definitely get my, I guess, more bubbly personality through my Sag moon, I think. So this might be a good time for you to explore that creative fire inside you and start a new project or maybe travel, anything that will really light you up. Sagittarius is a fire sign, so anything that'll kind of spark that fire. Enjoy this last new moon in 2023, I guess, too, right? And then right after Sagittarius new moon on the 12th, we actually go into a Mercury retrograde right the day after. So
Boo.
if you're going to do any online shopping, maybe try and get it done beforehand, as those Mercury retrogrades sure like to mess with like technology and give you those little funny like hookups. Hey, Christy, like awful
Oh,
things.
yeah. Totally. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mercury, it's a love-hate relationship the more I work with it and understand the energy behind it. It's just reevaluating things that come up.
totally.
Yeah.
Okay, and so after the new moon, then we get into the winter solstice, which is the shortest day of the year and the longest nights. So as whereas the equinoxes that we have, they are defined as the same amount of daylight and nighttime. The solstice is either the longest day or the shortest day, and then obviously the longest night, shortest night. So, how do you celebrate the solstice? What can you do to really kind of pay homage to the winter solstice? Some fun ideas that I like are you can make a wreath for your door and kind of like welcome that into your home. Or you can just make even a small wreath for like your table or something with a candle on the inside. Maybe you put some crystals in it or some seeds or pine cones, whatever you feel called to that's kind of connecting you into like Mother Earth and being outside. I know, Christy, you've made a Yule log before and had a fire.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a new tradition that we started. And yeah, I find a log and then I had like dried oranges and pine cones and twigs and like made it real pretty and wrapped it up. And I had it on the table for a couple days. And then the winter solstice came and we had a fire and we threw the log in. So it's like, we're promising that the light will appear again and we're celebrating the darkness and what comes from the darkness. And I was also reading that, like in cultures, I think it was Scandinavian culture, they did the Yule log because they were scared that the light wouldn't return. So they were doing like this tradition of the fire to welcome the light back in. So I thought that was really interesting.
That is. Yeah, that's super interesting, actually, thinking just like a lot of these traditions actually kind of stem from fear in a way, right? Like scared
Yeah.
the light won't come back in. And you just have no idea, too, in that olden time when they started these traditions.
No, totally different world. And I went down like a deep dive of the winter solstice when I first started celebrating it. And one thing I found that was really interesting, like it's we're bringing in the light on the darkest day. And there was one article I read that they were thinking that maybe Jesus Christ was born on the winter solstice because he brought in the light. So his birthday was actually the winter solstice and not the 25th. So I thought that was super interesting because I've never heard anything like that before.
Oh, I really like that theory a
Yeah.
lot. Well, I'm pretty sure all those dates that we celebrate are kind of like educated guesses. So, I mean, I
Yeah,
wouldn't really be
probably.
surprised if it is actually the 21st. Yeah, super interesting. Another thing I read, if you're in BC, like Vancouver in Canada, they do a whole lantern ceremony to celebrate the winter solstice. So they all make lanterns and then they all light them throughout the city and like bringing in that light as well. I thought that was super cool. I
Oh,
wish
I
we did
love
something like
that.
that here. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be so neat. There's like,
Oh,
a community thing where you like invite everyone together and you start like celebrating the seasons instead of celebrating like oh, I got to go buy gifts and do this and this. And like, the rush of the holiday season is
Hmm.
just, I try to go on the other end of things and be more like the bear and hibernate and try and like be calm during the season. But of course, like things happen and family, and it is challenging just the way society is and about this season. But yeah, it's just something I really enjoy with the winter solstice and even being outside on that day. And I did read like a fun fact that if you go outside at noon on the winter solstice, your shadow will be the longest it'll ever be, like throughout the whole year, something to do with like the way the earth is tilted and the sun is shining. So I thought that was kind of neat.
That is neat.
Hmm.
We're all going to head outside now and at least try to find our shadow.
Find our shadow, yeah.
Okay, so then after this, we have the full moon on December 26th in Cancer, which is a very emotional sign. Again, if you listen to our episode with Bree, she was a Cancer sun and very emotional water sign. So I actually thought this was super interesting that it's a Cancer full moon at the end of December because a lot of people have a really hard time in December. It's one of the most emotional months. It's also the highest like suicide rate. I hate to be the downer here, but it's true. So it's interesting that that water sign is really hedging that emotional energy. So really take care of yourself for this full moon. Take what you need, go inward, and reach out too if you need to. And it maybe be time to like shed some things that are weighing you down. So just be very mindful, be very gentle with yourself. Family can be super overwhelming for a lot of people, and we don't necessarily choose our family, even though we do in the ethers, but it doesn't really feel like it sometimes. So if you need to just take a break, respect your boundaries with everyone else and take what you need. Cannot stress that enough for the full moon on the 26th.
Oh, on the 26th. Oh boy. Yeah, because
Yeah,
emotions
Boxing Day.
run, they run high, like, on Christmas Day and Boxing Day and then the full moon. Oh, yeah, that'll be interesting. I'm great. I have that in my awareness now. Just be like,
Right? It's almost
why
like
am I
you can be
crying?
proactive. Yeah, exactly. Why do I need to leave this family gathering right now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And it makes you think of like, people that don't have family or people that have to spend Christmas alone and then like the seasonal depression, like that's a real thing, like where we live. Like we don't, a lot of people spend so much time indoors. So yeah, just getting outside and enjoying that sun on your face, even if it's freaking minus 30, it does wonders for a person.
wonders. Yes,
Hmm.
good advice.
So Christmas time, with all the different Christmas songs playing, and I'm sure you've heard of the song like My Favorite Things. It's actually from The Sound of Music, which I didn't know. I don't even know if I've ever watched that whole movie. Have you?
That's blasphemy. Blasphemy. How have you never? Yes, it's like a tradition. We would have it on all the time.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, maybe I should watch it this year. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's like a long time ago. But anyways, so in that movie, she sings a song about her favorite things. And it actually wasn't like supposed to be a Christmas song, but she does talk about like Christmas related things. And I even remember playing this song on the piano as a kid. I really liked it. And the true meaning of the song is to like convey a sense of warmth and joy, encouraging you to focus on the positive aspects of life. When something's not going your way, it's like, how can I shift my perspective and be grateful and be in that vibration? And I think this song kind of blossomed into, well, like the gift giving and the shopping where maybe it was Oprah where like they have their 10 favorite things of like gift shop or like a gift guide or whatever. So maybe that's where it came from. But that's what inspired us for this episode. We thought we would go through different topics and list like our favorite things and then maybe inspire you and give you some gift ideas, or you could share with us like what some of your favorite things are.
Yeah, share them, please. It'd be awesome to know because I always love to know what's new and out there. Also, Christy, about that show, The Sound of Music, I don't know, since you've never seen the movie, this movie is actually based on World War II. So they are like kind of fleeing the Nazi regime.
Right.
And the story is really famous and was actually sold. they sold the story for like absolutely nothing. And then this movie and everything just went massive. Like everybody knows at least of The Sound of Music if you haven't actually seen the movie. And yeah, it's a famous, true story. And they flee and all their kids, and it's you need to watch it.
Yeah, I do need to watch it. I remember someone mentioning it, like it had to do with the World War, but yeah, I do. Yeah, I will do that this Christmas season. I'll make Troy sit down with me and watch it too.
Sorry, Troy. Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
'cause I think it's a long one.
Oh, all right, so these are a few of our favorite things. Let's start
Mhm.
with number one.
Our number one is our favorite gemstone. So I like working with crystals, so does Amanda, and
Hmm.
some people don't resonate with them, and that's just someone's own journey. But anyways, so my favorite crystal is amethyst. So it's the purple crystal. I believe it's related to the crown chakra, and it's one of like the cheapest ones to find. You can find it anywhere. And I just love the energy behind it. It like calms your anxiety, like wandering thoughts. And I remember giving it to my dad to put beside his bedside table at night to help him sleep. And it just seems like such a good stone that can do like so many different things. You know, it's not just related to one thing. It's just like so many vast healings with this stone. And it's just so pretty. But there's one thing I wanted to tell people is watch out for fake crystals, and because there is a shit ton of them out there. I remember my one friend, she was so excited. She wanted to show me all these crystals she got. And she's like, oh, I got them online. And I was like, hey, where? And she's like, from Wish, like that place from China. And
Yeah.
I was like, ah, it's like, I didn't have the heart to tell her, like, they're fake, like, they're just glass. Like, and it's like, that industry is worth like a lot of money. And of course, there's going to be people making fake stuff. That's just the way it goes with anything. But yeah, just be aware, you know, if you buy something, I find it's best to go to the store, pick it up with your own hands and feel the own energy and like talk to the owner and just like get the vibe of it. That's like my advice if you're drawn to shopping for gemstones.
Yes, I agree with that. It's amazing what happens when you like feel the crystal in your hand and
Mm-hmm.
see if it resonates with you or not. So that I think that's a really important part of picking a crystal. For me, the one I picked green aventurine because I work with it a lot actually when I Reiki. So it's one of those stones that I pick up and I will place. My green aventurine is like a shape of a heart. So I always put that on the heart chakra if it really needs some extra TLC and it just needs some extra love there to help move the energy. I'll just place that on there while I'm Reikiing, and it's like two times coming at it to help unblock the chakra. Another thing that I heard about crystals, you need to activate your crystal. And Shaman Durek, who I follow on Instagram, he was saying that with crystals, you need to like place them in your hand, kind of like breathe life into them and activate them. So that can even be by setting an intention and just thinking of the crystal and just activating it that way. He has a whole thing on there. I should tag it in our Instagram. I'll do
Yeah.
that on how to like really do that. But also the power of intention as well is really good for activating crystals too. And you can clear them as well. It's a really good idea too before you bring them into your home. Just kind of
Mm-hmm.
give them a spray, give them a wipe kind of a thing, and just really make them your own. Also, you can put them on selenite too. That's a really good clearing
Mm-hmm.
stone as well to kind of help that.
Yeah, that's super important. And you know, it's funny, like I'll read about a certain crystal and like its healing properties, but you know, at the end of the day, I feel like whatever intention you put into that crystal is what is going to come out of it. That's just the way I feel about it. And sometimes like I'll read about a crystal and be like, okay, well that is not how I feel when I hold it. So I go with like how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing too. Even with my crystal cards, like I don't actually look up what their real meaning are. I just look at the card and then that's whatever the feel I get for it is what the meaning is.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, just following your own intuition. That's the most powerful tool we have.
And I think you'll be surprised a lot of the time if you're getting a feeling from a stone and then you do look up the meaning, you're like, oh, that's actually what it's used for. I find that happens a lot too.
Yeah, or I'll be drawn to grab a crystal because I used to carry a lot of them in my pocket and I pick it up and I'm like, oh yeah, I need this today. And then something would happen and it's like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense why I had that crystal with me. It's just, it's weird how they work. Like, I don't know. It's bizarre, but it's pretty neat.
So, number two on our favorite things list, our favorite spiritual books that we like.
Yeah, so I have a few, but I would say right now would be Animal Power by Allison Edwards, I believe her name is. So this is just like one of those books that you would just pick up and pick a page and read. Because honestly, I don't ever read a book front to back, ever. Like I'm one that picks up a book, reads a chapter here and there, get what I need, and then move on. I've never read from front to back. And this one, it has so many different animals, and she's a shaman, so she dives into the meanings of the animals, and then she has like a little meditation practice you can do with the animal to like invite that spirit in for more healing and more understanding. And the art in the book is beautiful. And it's really a good tool that I've used in actually Reiki sessions where I would see like a hawk come in to the session and then I'd be like, oh, this is interesting. So I'd take a picture of that page and I'd send it to the client and they would be like, oh my goodness, this resonates. And it was just like another extra little thing I could do. And she also has like an oracle deck too that I would love to get because it's just, I don't know, it's super cool. The animal kingdom is so in touch with us and just reading about them and what things mean. And I remember Troy and I had a fly problem and I read about like what the fly meant. It was in the book surprisingly. And it was just, yeah, the message was so clear and it both resonated with us because who would have think like a fly is a little messenger from spirit telling you something. But yeah, it's a great tool. And I think it is such a good present for someone like for Christmas that loves animals. And then like they're Googling, what does this mean if this shows up in my dream? It's like, now you have the book. And it's like, I trust her research, like you're not just reading through a bunch of Google pages. Like I really resonate with her work.
Yeah, Allison Edwards is really good. I follow her as well, and the artwork is absolutely beautiful. Yes, perfect gift. Okay, so for me, I really, really liked the book by Elizabeth April. I believe it's called You're Not Dying, You're Just Waking Up. So this book was huge. If you were just going through a spiritual awakening right now, or you're just getting involved in kind of this woo-woo reality, I guess, or you're detaching from the matrix in a way, this is a book you're definitely going to want to read. It answered so many questions for me. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. My dad read it as well. He read it twice because you always miss something when you only read a book once. You are better off to read the same book three times and actually know it instead of reading five books once. So, highly recommend Elizabeth April's. She's very out there. She's connected to the Galactic Federation. She does a lot of like extraterrestrial channeling. So, be aware of that if you're not quite there yet. That's fine. Take what resonates, leaves what doesn't. But this is a great gift. Elizabeth April, You're Not Dying, You're Just Waking Up. Christy and I both own this, and it's so good.
Yes, it's so good. I didn't read the whole thing though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just
well,
like
that wouldn't be your stuff.
Yeah, I flipped to what resonated, but I feel like every time you pick up that book, you read something new, you learn something new, and it really helped me understand myself and what I was going through. Like she even touches on why we get anxiety, and yeah, it is an amazing book. I highly recommend that. And I think after this episode, I will like start posting on Instagram like each of our favorite things. So if you want to refer back to what we're talking about today, just hop over onto our Instagram. All right, on to the next one. So our favorite relaxing technique. So what would yours be, Amanda?
Okay, so we talked about Wim Hof breathing on the episode. And if you don't know what that is or you just didn't catch it, it's really like deep breathing in your diaphragm. And I like to put one hand over my heart and one hand on my stomach, on my solar. And I really like to breathe in to my body, breathe into my heart and let my whole stomach fully expand. Like we don't breathe deep enough. And it's really good to like focus on your breath, help clear out your mind and just feel really centered. I actually do this when I'm laying in bed too to kind of end off my night. I'm trying to meditate at the same time and just kind of reflect and go inward. And this is what I do all the time. I always have time for this, right? Because I'm laying in bed and I'm just trying to kind of be in the one. So that's what I do. Really deep, heavy breathing and really conscious breathing, feeling that alignment up to source.
Yeah.
And how about you, Christy?
Yeah, I think I would have to say deep breathing as well, whether it's like some kind of like kundalini breathing, like we talked about, like the breath of fire, just moving that energy in and out and getting rid of it. And also like left nostril breathing, like you'll block off the right nostril with your thumb, and then you'll breathe in the left nostril and out. And this has a really amazing calming effect on the body. And like sometimes I find like if I have some anxiety and like what's going on, I just like stop. I'm like, okay, breathe, just stop and breathe. It's so simple, like we breathe all the time, but it's like we don't take those deep belly breaths. And it's just, it's so good to just take a moment, take a deep breath in, hold it at the top, and then let go. It's just, yeah, nothing beats that. And it's free.
Okay, so number 4, our favorite oracle/tarot deck. Christy, what is yours?
Yeah, so my favorite one, I've talked about it before, is The Healing Waters by Rebecca Campbell. And I have all her decks, which are all amazing. The art and everything, it just speaks to me. But this deck is just something, I don't know, it just like hits me in the heart. And when I use it, I feel like the guides come through really clear and I'm just able to connect with the guides, get like a clear message of what's going on. And it's interesting. I haven't really opened the guidebook either. I've been going with like my own feeling of the cards and like getting my own messages, which is fun because I've never done that with a deck before. I've always like, pulled a card and then pushed my own intuition aside and then read the book. But with this one, I just really wanted to be intentional about connecting with it and just finding my own way through with it. And yeah, any of her decks are amazing if you're called to her work. I really enjoy it.
And that's an oracle deck, right?
That's right.
So my favorite deck is actually the very first deck I was gifted by my friend Marla, and it is called the Psychic Tarot deck. This deck is by John Holland. So this is a great deck if you are trying to learn tarot because it is the tarot deck, but it has words at the bottom. So for example, the Tower card, there's this like really good image and then it has destruction on the bottom. So just things like that. It's a really good deck. It's definitely a good starting tarot deck, and I love the images on it. It's again my very first deck I was gifted, and it is still like my favorite one to go to. It has a special place as well. It's getting all ratty, and the edges are definitely worn, and I just 100% love it. Good
Isn't that
gift
funny?
ideas if you like person in your life looking for getting into tarot or reading cards, get them a gift of
Yeah.
oracle or tarot deck.
I think that is a great gift. And it's funny how a lot of people, their first deck is like their go-to that they always go back to. And I think the first deck I had was Angel Tarot by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. And yeah, I think I boxed that one up. It's not even on my shelf. I don't use that one anymore. And it's funny, like I'll buy a deck. I'm like, oh, it's going to be the best deck ever. And I open it up and I'm just like, meh, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's weird. They have an energy about them. I've bought some that I haven't even really played with, but also maybe down the road, I might really connect with that deck. Like there's a reason I bought it and the reason why it's sitting on my shelf, or maybe one client will really need a message from that deck, or you just never know.
Yep, that's right.
All right. So our next favorite thing we wanted to talk about was our favorite podcast. So Amanda and we've been listening to podcasts for a long time. Like I crushed a ton of them at work. I started like with the health one's all about like alternative health. like exhausted that. I got sick of it. And then I started diving into the spiritual podcasts. And I'm not even sure how I came across this podcast, but it's actually Amanda and I, we both said this one, and it's Spirit Speakers. We talked about this one with Bree. And I was just listening to it on my way to the city this morning about their paranormal episode where people call in and talk about like their different experiences. And it's just, I don't know. It's like I just love that podcast so much because both of the women are like, one is more like with the angels and the light, and then the other one likes to work like with the underworld and the dark, and just both of them coming together and sharing their different perspectives on things. And they have so much knowledge. They've been in this business for so long, and they're good storytellers. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about it.
Yeah, it is an awesome podcast. I love both of them. And yeah, they're just a wealth of knowledge and their own experience, right? You just
Yeah.
can't put a price on that. So definitely give Spirit Speakers a listen for sure.
Super interesting how like I started listening to them like near the beginning and just watching their journeys and how much they've built a community and how much they've grown, and they blew up. Like you can't even book a session with them because they book so far in advance, and it's just like super inspiring. I just love the story of just like two people sitting down and starting a podcast and then creating a huge community and just bringing like-minded people together. I just really love that.
Same. It's a beautiful, beautiful podcast. Highly recommend.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6, our favorite things about Reiki. What is your favorite thing about Reiki, Christy?
Okay, so this one was hard to like narrow down to just like one thing, and I think the main thing that I love about it is that it's so gentle. You know, like you could have a client that's scared to have a Reiki session because they're scared of what may come through, but it's just like you have so much trust in the divine and the guides and the angels that whatever is revealed is meant to be healed at that time. Like I remember booking Reiki sessions and like being like, hey, I want to heal this. And then something completely different comes up. And it's like, and then through your journey, you find out, okay, no, I needed to heal this piece of the puzzle before I could get over here. And just like trusting that experience that whatever comes up is meant to come up. And it's just kind of interesting to watch too. You know, you set an intention and then something different comes up, and then someone's like, oh, I haven't thought about that memory in years. That's so weird. It came up. And it's just like, well, your body was ready to release it. It was hanging out there and it's ready to go. And some things that's come up during my sessions I just thought they were kind of minor. But when we went into the chakra and like kind of realized like what was going on, it's like, hey, no, this memory needs to leave. And I don't know. It's just so fascinating. I just love it.
Absolutely. It's phenomenal. And like I love how it just feels like magic.
Mm-hmm.
Like feeling the energy move and flow. I love being able to feel that. It still blows my mind. And, I've actually had to give clients, especially like a first time if I'm seeing them, and they have an idea of what they want to do and what they want to accomplish. And now I almost have to give them almost the warning, just being like, okay, we'll definitely do that. But other stuff might come up for the first session that we don't even know needs to be addressed. And whatever needs to come up first and foremost needs to come up first and foremost. And then we can address something else later on down the line if you want to explore that later. But I know it's so interesting, like you said, you don't know you're hanging on to something, but it's actually playing a really big energetic role in your life that needs to be addressed. Everything else can kind of flow and move smoother.
Yeah.
I love that about Reiki.
Yeah, me too. It's like, the one stream is blocked and you need to open that stream up so it can reach the other chakra. And yeah. And I remember like you and I, we were practicing like our masters and we had the intention to go in and do ancestral healing. And what ended up coming through was inner child. And we were just like, oh, what do you know? But we weren't like, oh, what the heck? It was just like, no, we just put in that full trust that that's what needed to be healed that day. And yeah. Number 7 here. So our favorite archangel to work with. What is yours, Amanda?
I work with Archangel Michael a lot, and we're trained to work with him when we take our level 1 and 2 with New Earth Angel Reiki. And he's just now a solid go-to. Like we always call in all the archangels like as a big healing circle team, but he's definitely almost like my right hand man when I'm angel man. When I am doing Reiki, he's my number one go-to for sure. And you, Christy?
Yeah, mine is Archangel Metatron. So he is like super powerful. And when I do my work in the Akashic Records, he is always there because he works in the Akashic Records. And I don't know, just working with him, he is like a teacher, but he also is like kind of like hard on you, like wants to see the best in you. And if you make up excuses, he's kind of like, hey, like, come on. Like, let's go, get going with it. And sometimes I need that little kick in the butt, you know? I've had so many interesting things happen with him that just like are unexplainable. Like, I remember one day I woke up and I had this urge to go to the used bookstore. And I was like, why? I'm not looking for a book. Like, why am I going there? And I went to the bookstore that day. I was like, whatever, I'll just go. And I was looking through the books, like in the angel section, and this book of Archangel Metatron popped out of the shelf. And I have never seen this book before. And I remember he was like a big part of my life at that point in my life, like helping me through different things. And that I found that book at that moment just like blew my mind. And it is an amazing book. I forget the author. I will share it though. And I remember I picked up the book and like a tear streamed down my face because I was just like so shocked that how sometimes when you listen to that intuition and you follow it, you just never know what's going to happen. And that just felt like pure magic that day. And I feel like we will do like an Archangel episode where we talk about a few of them and we dive more into them, because I could talk about Metatron for a long time, but for this episode, we'll just, wrap it up. But stay tuned for that one.
Yeah. And you do a lot of work in the Akashics. You've taken Akashic courses, and we'll definitely do an episode on that. And Archangel Metatron is like the librarian of the
Yeah.
Akashics. So it's really fitting that you feel super connected with him for sure.
Yeah. And I've actually connected with him since I was a child. Like, I have a whole story about that I'll share in another episode. But yeah, he's my go-to guy.
Okay, number 8. What is your favorite chakra? Or what do you feel most connected to with the chakras?
I would say my crown chakra. So that's one that is, I guess, the strongest, I would say, within myself. And it's just like such a fun one to work with connecting to spirits. And I find like that's where all my channeling comes through. And I know when Amanda's done Reiki on me and she goes into my chakra, sometimes it's pushed her against the wall because it's just so open and powerful. And yeah, I just love it. And I love when I start a Reiki session, like the crown is of course where I start. And I get so many messages coming through. Like the last Reiki session I had, I typed a whole page just on the crown. I don't know. It was just like, it was insane. The messages, like my fingers couldn't even keep up. I was just typing so fast. So I find like, since I'm so involved in like my crown, like that's like my favorite part to be. And maybe I'm attracting clients that also have that as well.
Yeah, your crown, yeah, it's so funny. You can get an overactive crown really easy, you. Being there, and it's just like my arms can't stretch out wide enough to even contain it all to put it back in. Yeah, it's really funny for you. I would have to say I picked the throat because as of late, this seems to be coming up a lot, my throat chakra. Even so, I met with Janessa for a massage. We're having Janessa on as a guest. And when she was like giving me Reiki and with my massage, she was like, it's almost like your head's not attached to your body. And I was like, I know it's my throat chakra is just giving me, it needs a lot of TLC, which is funny because I honestly think the throat chakra just gets completely overlooked. It's not as fun as the crown or the third eye, not as vibrant as the heart or even your solar plexus. So yeah, I need to do a lot of work on my throat chakra. I have a lot of past live things with the throat. I had a whole Akashic reading done once, and a lot of it actually was like my throat chakra needs healing. So I picked that one because I need to give it a lot of healing. And that could be you too for listening to this. Don't overlook it. Learn to express yourself. Have a healthy, I was almost gonna say have a healthy appetite. But no, like have a healthy way of expressing yourself and just voicing your opinion, and the words you speak matter. What you say, really can transform into spells. So really speak kindly to other people, about other people. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. That's definitely mine as of right now. That's the theme in my life.
I love that. And you're so right how the throat chakra does get looked over.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I know mine is busted up too. Like I need a lot of help in that area. Like I've come a long ways, but of course there's always
Mm,
more pieces to the puzzle. And a lot of things I find with working on clients, it's a lot of swallowed emotions I find are stuck in the throat chakra. When you want to say something and then you don't, you literally
yes.
swallow that energy and it's living in the throat. And then that can cause even physical ailments. Like I clenched my jaw at night, and that's a lot of unexpressed emotions. So I find it like, of course, Reiki can help with breaking that up, or even gargling water or screaming, like just something to
Yep.
activate it, or singing. Singing is a great one.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that one too.
All right, so let's move on to number 9. So, our favorite clearing tool. So, either to like clear our space after Reiki, or like clearing a house. Like, what is your go-to?
So I have a Tibetan singing bowl that I got from Todd for Christmas one year. This thing is beautiful. It would make a great gift. He picked this up at, well, the store in Saskatoon is called O2. So you can pick it up at any crystal or any shop that would sell cards, things like that. So I ding my bowl and I go around and I call in all the angels. And then I kind of go around the room as well just to get that nice clear sound so I know the room is clear. And then I also double up and I use a clearing spray that I make myself. And I actually got this stuff from our teacher, Andrea. And I take a feather because I don't want to use my own hand. Take a feather and I just go around the room and then I do one over on me and as well with the spray. Yeah, so I kind of double up. And how about you?
Yeah, that clearing spray is amazing. I love it. I'm like
Trying
savoring
to
the
recreate
last
it.
drops. um,
I know.
So, yeah, my favorite is also a sound, so a tuning fork. Um, I forget the name of the company, but Andrea actually recommended the company to me because there's a lot of different qualities of tuning forks out there, which I didn't know. And of course, you can get some on Amazon and like for cheap, but I invested in ones that were made like in the States. They weren't made over in China. And this one actually came with like a clear quartz crystal that you hit. And that vibration, it just like clears the space so fast. And I just love it because it's so powerful. It's so easy. And I even travel with it. Like if I go to a hotel, I pack it with me because I clear the room. I remember I was in Moose Jaw with Carlene. She's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Just never mind, just clearing the space out, like clear the bed, clear the corners." And I don't know, the sound healing is just it's next level. I really love it.
Yeah, that sound healing is perfect. And what a great idea to bring that to a hotel because it's pretty travel friendly.
Yeah, it's super tiny. And like you can do a deep dive into the different hertz, like the frequencies, like they have all different ones. They have ones for different chakras and even have one that is tuned into the angel frequency. So when I call the angels in, I point to like each direction that I'm calling them in. And then I hold it by my ears right before I start a session. And I feel like it tunes my ears into hearing them because like lately it's been so clear, just coming in hot. And I want to say it's thanks to that tuning fork. So I will find the company that I ordered from if anyone's interested in investing. Like it would be like a more expensive gift or a gift for yourself. I believe it's worth the investment because there's so many uses. If you bring something home from the thrift store and you want to clear the energy, just a quick tap and clear it. Or even if I had a crappy day at work, feel like I brought some emotions home from someone else, I'd clear myself, clear my feet. And yeah, it's probably one of like my favorite tools of all time. Mhm.
Okay, so favorite morning routine, number 10. What
Number
do you like to
10.
do in the morning, Christy?
Oh, the morning. We're both morning people. We love the morning.
I do. I'm annoying in the morning. I'm happy in the morning.
Oh, me
Yeah.
too. Troy loves the mornings too. Like we get up at like 6 on the weekend. Like we're ready to go. And the morning is something that I really love. A slow morning. I appreciate it so much. Like if we both just have that cup of coffee, sometimes we'll sit there in silence. Sometimes we'll talk about different things. And it's just like such a precious time. And I really like going outside in the morning and just watching the sunrise. I feel like that is like the best way to start the day. Or, like I have to go to work before the sun rises sometimes now. So, cause like with the time change, and so I don't get to see the sunrise, but still just like having those couple moments of like to yourself and just to take a deep breath and just like be grateful for the day. That's like how I like to start my day.
Mm, can't go wrong with gratitude.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm a coffee drinker. Are you still not drinking coffee?
No, I'm back on the wagon. After having this puppy and no sleep, it's like, oh,
You're
yeah.
truly embracing motherhood. You'll be microwaving that coffee in no time.
Yeah, no doubting. It's cold.
Yeah, so I love a cup of coffee and I love to journal in the morning and the silence. Like, so I have a 16, 17 months baby. So baby is an early riser, so I have to get up before him. I need that time by myself. So like during the week, I'm up at 5, and on the weekend, like hopefully like 6, that he can get up before him. But usually we match each other. And I love to journal and just do a gratitude list. That's a big one. And just be in the silence, even if I'm just like staring off in like an open-eyed, wide meditation, just drinking my coffee and just enjoying that silence. That is like best way to start my day.
Yep. I agree. And like I can't like I remember I used to work with one girl where she was late every day and she was just like she'd come into work just like a hurricane. And it was like, how do you start your day like this? Like I remember days where I would sleep in by accident and my whole day is off. And I was like, but you do this every day. It's just like, I don't know. I guess everybody's different, but I just really enjoyed the slow start to the day. And yeah.
Yes, it's like it's like slowly getting out of bed, or somebody like coming up with a mallet and like forcing you out of bed.
Yeah.
It's like that's almost what the difference would be. Awful.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't like that energy. No, no, don't rush
No,
me.
I know, and then you carry it all day. It's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I realize though, not everybody can just like get up. I realize people are out there hitting that snooze 4 times, 8 different alarms. I'm really lucky I'm not that person. And I think it's like my human design with my astrology chart. It's just made me into a morning mash. I don't know, but I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah, me too. Just, well, the way this society is, like, some people are meant like to have their power hour at nighttime, but that's not the way society works. It's like we have to wake up and be at work at this time. Like if you do work for someone else, of course. So, yeah, good old mornings. So the next one on our list is our favorite person like on Instagram to follow that's like inspiring or like a favorite meditation. So what is yours, Amanda?
Okay, so I actually really like YouTube for this question. So I follow a girl or an account. It's called Pura Rasa, and it is for meditation. She has absolutely everything on there. You want to have like a full 8 hour sleeping meditation, put that on all different time lengths, all different kind of categories. If you wanted to meet your guides, if you wanted to call in abundance, your soulmate, like anything like that. She has a beautiful, beautiful voice. You know how important that is when you're trying to get into a good meditation.
Mhm.
The voice matters. So Pura Rasa, that one is a total win. For anything newsworthy and noteworthy, I love Tim Wilde. He puts out a meditation Monday every Monday. And he also gives you an update of what is happening with our society and with what's going on energetically with our world. He was introduced to me from Andrea, actually, and I love his content. He just talks so much about even at Atlantean times, if there's stuff going on with our ley lines, just anything like that. Like he is bringing in the energy. There's a weird date coming up. He is encoding the codes into you, and I don't know. He's just awesome. So Tim Wild on YouTube as well. He does have an account on Instagram, but he's not as active. But YouTube is where he likes to do all of his things. And what about you,
That's
Christy?
awesome. Oh, yeah. So I haven't heard of either of those. I'll have to look those up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
you know,
love
you need
that.
to look up Tim for sure.
Yeah, I love that. I love
Yes.
like weekly updates, just like for the energy ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. He knows what's going on. He is connected.
I love that. So for me, it's funny. Like I get obsessed with like someone on Instagram. It's like, oh, I love their content and I tune into them all the time. And then I just get tired of it and then I stop following them. So it's like I go through phases. I feel like I get what I need in that moment, learn what I need to learn, and then like move on. So right now, my favorite I think would be Journey to Wellness. So she's a lady from New Zealand and she talks a lot about like the nervous system and somatic breathing and yin yoga. And it just feels like what I need in my life right now. And she just has like a lot of really good tidbits on her social media that she talks about like, hey, when you can't get anything done, it's like you need to tune into like your vagus nerve and your nervous system is in the freeze mode. And it's just like all these little nuggets of wisdom that I really, really enjoy, and just like diving into the breath work and the science behind it. And the nervous system is something that I'm passionate about. I keep learning about it because I'm healing my own nervous system. And yeah, that would be like my favorite right now. I'm trying to think of like someone on like the spiritual side. You know what? I really love following the women I met in the mediumship course. So that was the one that I did with Bree 3 years ago. And I follow like probably 6 of them, and just watching their journeys and what they share. Like I get really inspired by them and just seeing what they're up to. And my one friend from Haley, I'm not sure how to say her last name, but she is a good one to follow, just with her work in mediumship and healing and homeschooling her kids, and just how she shares about her culture. I really enjoy following her.
I love following her too. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's super inspiring.
just has like good content. She's just like living life by her terms, and that's just so inspiring. I really enjoy that. But you know what? I feel like it changes my favorite people to watch. And I'm not really a YouTuber fan. I haven't really like dove into YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of old school.
Yeah, it's kind of like where it all started. And you know what? Some people have sent me some stuff like on YouTube, but it's like some of it is a little out there. Like I'm pretty open minded, but some of the stuff like that they talk about, I'm just like, oh, I don't know if I can get on board with it. Like, and some of it is fear tactics too, which I don't like how they talk
I
about.
don't like that either.
No, like how this is going to happen on this day and you better be prepared. And just like, no, I just shut that off, because it's like, I don't want that in my awareness, because I believe we create our own reality to like a certain extent, of course. But
no, definitely. I agree.
yeah.
It's not a space I want to live in. I'm aware of it. I just don't want to live there.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Okay, so for our very last one, we wanted to talk about the best way that we raise our vibration. And I'm glad we're talking about this because I've actually been asked this lately. So, Christy, what is one way that you can help raise your vibration? What do you specifically do?
You know, I got like a few things. Like I did write down one thing, but something else came to mind, of course, is gratitude. You know, I was sitting at work the other day and we were just kind of talking about like our employer, and we're like, well, what do they do for us? You know, like what's the perks of working here? And then we started listing them off. And it was crazy how like the energy in the room, everyone kind of started to realize like, hey, there is a lot of good things going on here. And we started to feel that gratitude. So I find gratitude is like such a high vibration to be in. You know, if like you're having a shit day and you're just like, oh, life sucks. But if you go to something that you are grateful for, it just shifts your frequency so fast. And it's something that's free and easy to do. And even like my herbalist told me a really good trick, and it's have a list on your phone of 5 things that will raise your vibration. And whenever you're feeling down, look at that list, pick one thing from it. And I was like, whatever. And then I was just like, no, Christy, I'm going to do this. So I did it, and it has been such a helpful tool. And she said, even like put it on Post-it notes and put it around your house. And it's like something as simple as like taking a deep breath or hugging a tree or hugging my husband. It's just like those simple things, like when you're in the heat of the moment, you kind of forget. And just having that reference to go to, I find is like super helpful. And just like being in that present moment. I don't know. I just like sometimes when I'm driving and I'm getting so worried and worked up about everything that's happening in the future and in the past. And it's like, you know what? Just be in the now, because right now you have nothing to worry about. It's just you in the moment. And that is like such a peaceful place to be. And it's just something that I'm going to keep practicing, just to be in that moment more and more as I go.
Absolutely. And to play onto your gratitude comment as well, I find it sometimes we can be like, oh, gratitude, and we say the things, but we're not actually like feeling the gratitude in our
Mm-hmm.
heart. And I think that's a really important key part when you're expressing gratitude. It's like think of the moment and then really feeling it in your heart to feel that gratitude. Because I know I can kind of get redundant and get almost like numbed to that great thing. It's like, oh, yeah, yeah, I'm grateful for this, blah. But yeah, to actually like pick it and feel it is a really good one.
Yeah, like a thought and a feeling are two different things. Like you can think about being grateful, but until you feel it, you're not going to be in that vibration.
Yeah, totally. For me, if I'm in a place where it's like not too bad, I can think of myself, I kind of get into my little elevator, my metaphorical elevator, and I feel myself like raising my vibration that way. So I'll kind of see myself going through each of my chakras and just raising my vibe all the way up. But there will be times where I can only get to like the third level of my elevator and I can't even get all the way up to feel that good feeling. I'm feeling, better. So when that happens, I have 3 songs that I like to play that always get me out of feeling funky. And it's hilarious. I have a little 3-song playlist on my phone. And for anyone that's curious, these 3 songs are first one is Rather Be by Clean Bandit and Jess Glynn. I don't know why this song always makes me want to dance, and it's kind of a lame song maybe, but I love it. And I always dance, I always move my body to it and I sing. It's good. The second one is Galway Girl by Ed Sheeran. It turns out I'm a closet Ed Sheeran fan. I just found this out this week actually how much of his songs that I actually like. But I had a trip booked to Ireland and it got canceled because of COVID. And I had this song on. It got me super jazzed to go and travel Ireland by myself, and it didn't happen. But the song still raises that vibe immediately. And my last one is Got to Love You by Sean Paul and Alexis Jordan. Those 3 songs will get me out of any bad funk I am in. It is hilarious. I will dance in my kitchen. I'm dancing in my car. It doesn't matter. It is like magic. Those 3 songs for me. So find those 3 songs for yourself, or you can steal mine by all means. They're great. They'll just get you moving and make you feel better.
I
And
love that
those are my little
idea.
secrets. Yeah.
I like just having the playlist ready to go. It's just
Oh,
there,
yeah.
hit play,
Mm.
ready to go.
Hmm.
Yeah. And you know what? I do have some songs too that soon as I hit them, it's like, okay, yeah, it's go time. Like you can't just sit there and listen to it. You have to
Oh,
dance.
yes. Yes. It's so good. So good.
Are you ever gonna like not smile while you dance? Like dancing is
Yeah,
just yeah, a good way to move the energy around and raise it up.
totally. So let's talk about things that we bought that we didn't think was worth it. I will start. I bought a chi machine. I was so excited about this. So you put your feet you put your ankles in this little machine and it kind of like jiggles your whole body. You can like, it goes for 15 minutes and it's awesome. Like it really kind of vibrates you and gets your aura going and kind of cleans out the chakras. I bought this like when I was on mat leave, and honestly, I have used this thing 20 times max.
Oh,
Just, I can't bring myself to go on there and lay on there. I just don't have it in the right spot in my house, maybe. But this was unfortunately kind of a bust for me. And I paid over 200 bucks for it. So
I,
that would be my whoops. It's a cool gift, but it's like an electrical. You use it and then you just stop.
yeah,
What
that
about you, Christy?
happens. Maybe you should throw it on Marketplace, get some money back.
Oh, yeah, I'm hoping that I like find myself to use it again. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you have to be intentional about some of that stuff. Like,
No.
I know it's easy to be like, oh, I'm going to do this every morning. And then the morning comes, you look at it, you're like, meh.
Yeah, totally where I'm at.
Some things that I've invested in that, I got into essential oils and there was a local store that I just loved. I loved the woman that ran it. And I blew like, I think 300 bucks there one time. And essential oils, like, they do go bad eventually. Like, I find maybe, like, I'm not an expert on them, of course, but I find like certain ones, like the smell changes and maybe I don't know if they go rancid or what happens. Like, of course, I don't have them in the sunlight, like they're stored away in a cool, dry place. But I find that it takes me a long time to go through a bottle, and I just bought way too many at that time. So it's like, it's good to, like, if you're called to one, just buy one, work with one. It's like I almost got too overwhelmed, and then I just put them away, and then I didn't really touch them after that.
Yeah, definitely. That can, yeah, get carried away for sure.
Yeah. There was another gift I wanted to mention on here. It's called Storyworth. I believe they're on Instagram. So what they're about is, how do I explain this? So you sign up and it's a gift for, like, say your parents or your grandparents, and you want to learn more about their life because, like, there's lots of things in your parents' life, like through teenage years or something maybe that you don't really know about. And so how this works is every week a question gets emailed to the person, like say your mom, and you pick different questions, like when in life were you the most scared? When were you the most proud? What was your first car? How was high school? Like all these questions that you would love to ask your parents, but sometimes you don't think about it. And then what happens at the end of the year is the company turns all those stories into a book. And then they mail this book to you or your parents. Like, I think you can get a couple copies of it. And I just think that is like the best gift ever because, like, my grandma, she had so many stories to share. And of course, like, I didn't write them down. And I wish I knew more details about them. And if I could have that book with my grandma, because now she's gone, I think that would be like the best present ever.
That is such a good idea. I love this. Love
Mm-hmm.
this. So cool.
Yeah, I think it's about maybe $100. So it is on like the more pricey end, but I think it's something that you would treasure and you could go back and read. And I think you can't put a price on memories, really.
Yeah. And how many of us wish we could have those moments or know those things, right?
Yeah. And once they're gone, if like some of the family members don't remember, it's like it's gone forever. So,
That's right.
yeah.
Okay, well, we hope you enjoyed a few of our favorite things and enjoy the Christmas season. And we are
Yeah.
going to leave you now with a card pull with my favorite deck, the Psychic Tarot, the OG deck. So at the bottom of the deck here, we actually have the Transformation card, which would be the Death card in the tarot deck. So the number 13 in the major arcana. So this is going to be a time about transforming ourselves. And I'm actually seeing instead of us going outwards to transform, we need to go like hibernate in with that solstice and kind of almost go into cocoon mode instead of butterfly mode. So it's like we're at a point in our lives where we're not quite ready to spread our wings, but we need to go and cocoon first. Okay, so the other cards that came out actually was the Major Arcana card, the moon, which is addressing our shadow self, which is kind of funny. So, especially with that full moon, it's going to be actually, I know it's on Boxing Day this year, but you would have a lot of great benefit by going and being by yourself and kind of addressing your shadow works and almost reflecting over the year that has come. The other card I got was the Four of Pentacles, which in this one says firm foundation, and the Four of Cups, which is kind of it says disconnect on the bottom of it. So it's a really good time to disconnect and kind of work on our own foundations. So reflecting on what has worked for me in the year, how can I kind of grow and transform into something better for next year, and taking that time away from everybody. Like we're only as good as our foundation is. So if there's cracks in there, or maybe you're feeling a little stressed out and overwhelmed about money, this is kind of a good time to just kind of close the wallet, find a lot of fun things that you can do for free and just kind of get refocused on your goals and your saving goals. And there was one more thing here, but it just totally went away. It was in my in my crown and all of a sudden it's gone. Yeah, it's just kind of coming back from even those temptations and just kind of getting out of the throes about, we get so wrapped up in the spending of life right now in December too, and kind of get on that high. And it's kind of breaking all of those chains and just coming back to our oneness and feeling our alignment, kind of getting out of that purchaser's consumerism spirit. That's what I'm getting. Yeah, breaking through that devil card is in the bottom here again, and then hope afterwards. So you're going to feel a lot better when you kind of get out of that heavy thickness of it and you can kind of get back to reality and your own reality. So that is the message. Okay.
Oh, I love that. I feel like that just like wrapped up everything we talked about.
So crazy. But yes, that's it. Cool.
Oh, I love it. Thank you.
Okay, well, enjoy your holidays, everyone, and let us know what your favorite things are on Instagram.
Yeah, we would love to hear about it. And of course, follow us on Instagram at Living the Reiki Life. We'll be posting all of our favorite things and you can share with us, of course. And I just wanted to say that how important reviews are. If you ever feel called to leave a review, we love and appreciate them so, so much. And we really enjoy reading them as well.
Yeah, thank you for your feedback. We've been having some awesome comments lately. We text each other right away when we see them, by the way. And we're
Yeah.
like, did you see that nice comment? So, yes, keep doing that. We also both have our bookings online if you want to book a Reiki session or want to touch in with one of us. Mine is Reiki with Manda.
And mine is the Birch Soul. So you'll find everything on our Instagram.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and take care, everyone.
See you later.
1, 2,